What is going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Hope you had a really Merry Christmas. I had a great Christmas myself. We spent Christmas Day at my brother's place. All the family was there. It was a beautiful summer's day, so we spent the day in his yard, ate a lot of great food, had a lot to drink, mixed up a few eggnogs, exchanged some gifts, and just had an awesome day with the family. I'm back home now. It's a couple of days after Christmas, so I'm definitely in the deep into that post-Christmas blues feeling that I typically get when a day that I've been looking forward to for so long is now over for another year. But hey, if there's a tried and tested way that I can feel better going forward, it's by talking about some classic toys and other collectibles from the 80s and 90s. So that's what we're going to do. Today we're going to talk about the Christmas haul. And in what is a bit of a crusher Christmas tradition, I'm not really talking about the gifts that I got from my family because they're all quite practical things. I got an electric wok from my mum. Mum, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But today I'm going to talk about some things that you should find a little bit more interesting. And like I said, that's toys and collectibles from the 80s and 90s. So what I tend to do is from about mid-November onwards, late November into December, any of my pickups that arrive in the post, I don't open them, I wrap them up, pop them under the Christmas tree. That way the Christmas tree looks awesome in the lead up to Christmas, and it also means I have some Christmas morning fun, some fun stuff to open up and get as close as I can to capturing that 80s, 90s childhood Christmas morning feeling, as close as I'm going to get to now. So that's what we're going to go through. Now the haul is a bit of a mixed bag. We've got some vintage action figures, we've got some retro video games, we've got some VHS, we've got some other bits and pieces. So let's get stuck into it, and we're going to start with the action figures. Alrighty, so the first action figure that we're going to look at is one that it's a new version of a figure that I've showed you before, and that is a near complete 1991 Playmates Toxic Crusaders Dr. Kill-'Em-Off figure that I picked up in the lead up to Christmas. So now this guy's near complete, but like I mentioned, it is a bit of a flashback because maybe 3 or 4 videos ago I picked up this guy. This guy was complete with everything except for the green strap here, or at least that's what I thought. But when I took a closer look at this figure, he's actually missing, which you might be able to see here, he's missing a peg that is used to clip on that green belt. So it wasn't just a case of me needing to pick up the green strap. I actually needed to pick up a new figure, and I've got one here. I'm a little bit bummed out about it because this guy here has way more like fluoro colored paint deco. I'm not sure if it's a variant situation or if the paint's come off a little bit here, but anyway, we picked up a new version, and this guy's got everything except for that plutonium canister. So now between those two Dr. Kill-'Em-Offs, we now have a complete version. So that's another Toxic Crusaders figure that I can tick off the list. If my memory serves me correctly, there's only about 9 figures in the line, and I've got 6 of them now. So now I just need Headbanger, Major Disaster, and Bonehead. So getting closer to complete a toy line that I'm really focused on at the moment. That's Toxic Crusaders. So happy to tick Dr. Kill-'Em-Off off the list. Now, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, another toy line that's like a major focus for me at the moment and has been since day one, it was one that was close to my heart as a kid and also now as an adult collector, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I just had the one Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure under the Christmas tree waiting for me Christmas morning, and I'll talk about this guy again in a bit more detail in one of my videos that I'll be doing in the new year, which will be an updated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vintage action figure pickups video, because I've got tons of those guys that I've picked up that I need to share with you. But we just got this Midshipman Mike figure. Again, it's a figure that I already have, but I was trying to get my hands on the anti-foot flag and the duffel bag accessories, and it was just easier for me to pick up a new figure that had these accessories. So now I've got what I need to tick off Midshipman Mike, and I'm almost there with the Mutant Military line, so I'm really happy about that. So we can tick this guy off the list. Alrighty, so next up I've got a couple of quick action figure pickups from vintage toy lines that are new to me, that I don't have any of yet in my collection, and the first one is Food Fighters. I picked up this short stack figure on eBay. I don't see Food Fighters very often at all here in Australia. Very wacky, very weird, kind of in the same way as, you know, Barnyard Commandos and Mad Balls and Wild West Cowboys and Moo Mesa. Don't see them very often, but if I do, I've got to make a point of picking them up. And this first figure is Short Stack in the Food Fighters toy line. He's missing his weapon, he's missing his backpack, and he's actually missing a little bit of butter from the or syrup or whatever that is from the top of the pancake stack. But I couldn't not pick up this guy, you know, kind of mutated military food items. I mean, what's not to love about that? So I had to pick up Short Stack, so really happy to have him in the collection, and I'll be keeping an eye out for more Food Fighters figures. And then we've got a Beetlejuice figure. And again, I haven't up until now, I haven't picked up any of the Kenner Beetlejuice line. But I saw this guy, he was coming from the same seller as another figure that I picked up, and I just had to jump on him. So, you know, very kind of Kenner with the action feature. Reminds me a lot of what Kenner did with the Real Ghostbusters Fright Features figures. And just a fun little action figure pickup. I love the movie Beetlejuice. Love the kind of, you know, crazy, colourful aesthetic of the Beetlejuice Kenner action figure line. So again, I'll be keeping an eye out for more of the Beetlejuice figures. Alrighty, so speaking of Kenner's Real Ghostbusters action figure line, I picked up a small figure lot off eBay. Now all of these figures I have, I just needed them for the accessories. So first up we've got a Fright Features Spengler here that I just needed for his accessory, because I've got all of the Fright Features figures, but I'm trying to complete them with all their accessories and companion ghosts. So I've now got Egon's accessory. Yet another Fright Features Winston Zedmore. I've probably got about half a dozen of these guys now, but again, he was just in the lot, so I picked him up. I've already got the accessory, I've already got the figure, but that's okay. We've got a Fright Features Peter here that, again, I needed that accessory, so now I've got that accessory in my collection. Alrighty, and then just a couple of loose accessories that came with that lot. So we've got the Jail Ghost Companion Ghost little accessory here that I believe came with the Fright Features Ray Stantz, so we've got him. And then unfortunately we've got something that's broken here, and that is the Companion Ghost of Peter Venkman from the Fright Features line. So I'm sure I can repair that. So assuming I can repair that, we tick those off. So that'll mean I can complete my Venkman in the Fright Features line. And then I just need some companion ghosts for the other figures. And we're getting there. So really happy to pick those guys up. It was a really cheap lot. Probably worked out to be, you know, $3-4 a figure. But again, so I'm happy to take those extra figures into the collection if it means getting some of those accessories. So happy with those. Now, one of the items that I did pick up in the lead up to Christmas, which was wrapped up under my Christmas tree, it was one of the most anticipated things that I was excited to open up on Christmas morning. And it was actually like a decent sized lot of Kenner's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure figures. Now, ever since I picked up that Bill S. Preston Kenner figure at a Collecticon show last year, you know, I just really like the figure. I watched those movies again, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and I've just been keeping an eye out for more of those figures. And again, as with Food Fighters, like I mentioned, I rarely see them here in Australia. I scour eBay pretty often, and I'm part of a lot of you know, vintage action figure Facebook groups. I don't tend to see them. So I did something that I've probably only done 3 or 4 times since I've been collecting, and that is make a purchase from an international eBay listing. I was following along with an eBay auction in the States for a lot of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure Kenner figures. Now I'm going to share those with you in a separate video, but I just thought I'd provide a bit of a sneak peek on this with just my favourite figure in the lot, and that is this Grim Reaper, this Death figure. How awesome is this figure, man? I was stoked with this. Definitely my favourite in the lot, but like I said, I'll share it with you in more detail. I just love the fact that you've got a nice cloaked Grim Reaper figure coming with his scythe, I believe it's called, or his sickle. So that looks awesome. I can imagine if I had this as a kid, this guy would definitely pop up while I was playing with other toy lines as well. This guy would probably you know, show his face with the Turtles, or with the Real Ghostbusters, or with, who knows, this guy might have had a run in my Fig Federation with the WWF Hasbros, who knows. So just an awesome figure. He looks menacing, but then you take the hood back and he's got his blue mohawk with his Wild Stallions logo, and he's got this awesome skull guitar so he can be part of the Wild Stallions and play along with Bill and Ted. So just an awesome figure, a toy line that I'm you know, like I said, really drawn to. You know, much like Toxic Crusaders, it's a toy line that I believe only had one wave, probably 8, 10, 12 figures tops. So especially with that lot that I've picked up, definitely another toy line that I'm looking to complete. But I'll talk more about this guy in the new year when I do a video dedicated to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So very happy with that. Alrighty, so that's it for the vintage action figure pickups that I already opened up on Christmas morning. Next up, I've got something that I haven't yet opened, and that is a box from Matt and Andrew from Keep On Collecting. Now, I know of a couple of things that are in here because Matt gave me a heads up that they were spares in his collection. He asked if I was interested in adding them to my collection, but I still thought I'd do a live unboxing anyway, so let's rip this open and let's see what we got. Alrighty, so first up we've got a note from the boys. Let's go through this and see what we got. Hi Scott, hope you enjoy this box of goodies. I know you know 2 of the items, I do. However, I snuck 2 others inside. Guys, you didn't need to do that. I can't wait to see what we got here. One is a vintage figure, and probably one you'll curse me over for giving you, as it means you may have to start a new line of figures to collect. Now, side note here, one of the things that I love about the YouTube channel Keep On Collecting is just the variety that those guys share. I find myself often, you know, considering which line I'm going to get into next because the boys do great videos on toy lines that I don't collect. So this will be interesting. The other, well, you like retro games, so maybe this one counts. It's from the early 80s, and I hope you enjoy. I'll send you details to ensure you get it to work, okay? It's been awesome to meet you, Scott. Andrew and I had an amazing time chatting toys, drinking, and chatting more toys with you. Your honesty, integrity, and ability to tell a thoughtful story makes us feel grateful to call you our mate. So enjoy. Love what makes you happy. Guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate those kind words. And it goes both ways. You know, I've mentioned to the boys before, the passion and the genuine friendship between Matt and Andrew that comes through their videos are awesome. So I've said it before and I'll say it again, go check out Keep On Collecting. And of course, they finish with Keep On Collecting. Cheers, Matt and Andrew. Thanks so much, guys. Alrighty, let's get into it. Now first, we've got my phone charger, which I left at Andrew's place when we filmed our video together. Thanks, boys, for returning that. Alright, let's see what we got here. Now these are the 2 figures that I do know of. So we've got a couple of awesome Bucky O'Hare figures here. Now, I picked up a complete vintage Bucky O'Hare figure, the actual Bucky figure at Collecticon last year. It was like $2 in like an all toys $2 bin, which was awesome. So I was really happy to pick up Bucky, and it kind of got me on the road to Bucky O'Hare. So the boys have sent me a couple of Bucky figures, which I'm stoked about. We've got this guy first, Al Negator, I believe he's called. So that's awesome. And then we've got this guy here, Toadborg. So these 2 are both complete. So now I've got a couple of awesome figures to add to my Bucky collection. I'm pretty sure these guys are both villains, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll have to check that. Matt, Andrew, thanks so much, guys. Those are going to go great in the Bucky collection and help get me started. Alrighty, oh my gosh. I know what we got here. Alrighty, so, oh my gosh. Wow. So one of the vintage lines that that both Matt and Andrew collect and have mentioned in their videos is Kenner's Superpowers toy line. And that was one that I mentioned in the comments of one of their videos I was definitely keen to get into. I you know, growing up, I didn't necessarily consume a ton of, you know, like comic book content, but Kenner's Superpowers line definitely just jumps out at me. Just the color, The classic imagery, you know, the classic take on these superheroes are awesome. And we've got a vintage Flash figure here. That is so nice. Guys, thank you so much for that. 1984 Kenner. And what's insane, like I don't really know what this is, but the Flash figures come in a little Kenner kind of you know, little baggie, which is just mad. I'm not quite sure if you know, when these figures were released, if accessories came in these little bags, or I don't know what that is, but that is so cool to see. So, man, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be off and running on the Superpowers line now, guys. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. That's amazing. And we've got something else here. Wow. This is... I know what this is as well. This looks like a... This is a little... I don't know if this is a Tiger handheld or... I don't know exactly what this is. It's kind of like a Nintendo Game & Watch, or it's kind of like a little Tiger handheld, but it's called Time and Fun. And it's Pancake. If anyone who's watching knows what this is, definitely give me a little helping hand in the comments. I'm sure Matt and Andrew will fill me in. But it's even come with the little batteries that these used to take. Now, I remember having a game kind of similar to this as a kid. I'm not quite sure where I got it. I'm assuming it was a hand-me-down from, you know, one of my older cousins. My brother and I are kind of the youngest in our family on both sides. So I had a lot of older cousins that first introduced me to Masters of the Universe, Dino Riders, Hasbro, WWF figures, various video games, and I had an Oil Panic handheld game, which I believe was a Nintendo Game & Watch. And again, this is Time and Fun Pancake, so I'm not 100% sure what this is. Oh wow, and it's even come with the box. That's crazy, look at that. How awesome is that? Man, I'm blown away by this. That is so cool. So VTech looks like the manufacturer. VTech Time and Fun, and the game is Pancake, and it looks a little bit similar to the old Oil Panic game that I used to play, where it looks like, you know, you've got a little kind of character that darts back and forth catching these pancakes. So that is so cool. This is definitely going to get some play and is going to be displayed proudly. So Matt, Andrew, thank you so much for this. I'm absolutely blown away. I didn't expect it. I knew of those two Bucky O'Hare figures because Matt and I discussed previously, you know, whether I was getting into Bucky and whether I had those in the collection and wanted them. So I mean, just those two being gifted to me by Matt and Andrew is awesome. But, you know, the Flash and the Time and Fun Pancake game, that is so cool. That is awesome. I'm blown away, guys. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Alrighty. Where to go from there? You know what? Well, the best place to go from there is the video games, because I did pick up some video games in the lead up to Christmas, some retro games, and they were wrapped up under the tree for me to open as well. So, firstly, we'll go Super Nintendo. This is a game that I had as a kid, so I had to pick this up when I saw it going at a good price in nice condition on eBay. So not only is this a nostalgic one for me because I love the movie growing up, the movie Home Alone growing up, as I discussed in my last video, my top 5 favourite Christmas movies on VHS, but I also had this game. So this is a nostalgic one for me, and if I can drag myself away from the Time and Fun Pancake game, I'll probably have a play of this next up because, you know, it's still the Christmas season and there's no better time to play a bit of Home Alone on Super Nintendo than Christmas time. So was happy to pick that one up. Alrighty, so setting aside the gift from Matt and Andrew, this is probably my favourite pickup of everything that we're looking at today, just because of the nostalgia attached to this item. This was a Christmas gift for me in 1992, so I'm really happy to have it in the collection once again. It's a classic Game Boy game. It's WWF Superstars on Game Boy. Now, I got this game on Christmas Day 1992 along with my original Game Boy, and it was just one of my favorite all-time, you know, Christmas morning memories for me. I've got a photo here which I'll put up, which I've shared in previous videos, just because it's, you know, it's such a special memory to me. I clearly remember the Christmas that I got this game. As we did with a lot of Christmases around about this time in my childhood, we went to my auntie and uncle's place for Christmas Day lunch. And as I've mentioned before, you know, Christmas here in Australia, especially here in Sydney, it's a hot summer's day. So every Christmas we'd go to my auntie and uncle's place and we'd be outside eating, the parents would be drinking, we'd be swimming in the pool, playing outside, kicking a soccer ball around, doing all those fun, traditionally Australian Christmas Day things. But this particular year, I took advantage of the fact that the Game Boy is the ultimate portable Christmas present. And whereas normally, you know, I'd go to my auntie and uncle's place and spend the day there and just be excited to get back home that night to play with my Christmas presents, the Game Boy came with me, obviously. And while everybody was outside playing in the pool and eating and drinking and having a good time, being very social, I was being very antisocial, and I was just inside in the living room playing WWF Superstars on Game Boy. And intermittently, my brother or my cousins would come in and want to play, and I'd begrudgingly give them about 2 minutes and then ask for it back. You know, it's just not very social, like I said, but one of those classic Christmas Day memories that stand out. And for that reason, you know, really happy to have WWF Superstars in the collection, and we might have to do a review video on this. So really happy with that one. Now, all of these next games came from the same seller. As I'll often do, like I mentioned before, when I'm picking up things on eBay, is I'll always try and kind of minimize the shipping by seeing if there's any other items that the same seller is selling, and then try to, you know, negotiate a discount and combine shipping. So we've got a couple more Game Boy games. We have Mortal Kombat 2. Now, a few months back, I saw the Mortal Kombat film, the new Mortal Kombat film, and it kind of got me, you know, into the idea of wanting to play some retro Mortal Kombat. So the same seller that was selling WWF Superstars was selling this, so I picked up this one. A game that I know nothing about, Kung Fu Master. I think it's just, you know, your standard side-scrolling beat-em-up game, so I picked up this as well for $1, maybe $2 from the same seller. And the last one from that seller is NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo, and it came with the manual. So this is a game that I am nostalgic for, but I never had this on the Super Nintendo. When I think of NBA Jam, I think of the arcade game. You know, back in the day when this came out, the video store had one or two arcade machines, as did the local pizza shop. So my local shops, you know, wherever I lived in various kind of childhood homes, often had arcade machines. And NBA Jam, Street Fighter 2, and WWF Wrestle Fest were my favorite arcade games. So, you know, this one is a nostalgic one from you know, the period of playing arcades and just burning through those coins. And again, happy to have this in the home console collection. So that'll be cool. Alrighty, so that's it for the video games. Now I've got a book that I picked up for Christmas. Now, I mentioned previously that, you know, earlier in the year, my mum offloaded to me when I went and visited a stack of books that were my books when I was a kid, and it's got me thinking about the various books that I had as a kid and trying to get my hands on some of them. And one of the common themes of books that I owned as a kid was wrestling books, and this was the one that stands out most for me, the official book of the WWF from 1992. And this is super nostalgic for me. I've had a flick through, and, you know, just about every page is kind of, you know, recognizable to me in terms of the photos on these pages. I guess the significance of the 1992 official book was 1992 was when I became introduced and then quickly obsessed with the WWF. And so, you know, the 1992 official book, you know, the roster of wrestlers that, you know, we go through in 1992 is pretty much the roster, the iconic roster of WWF wrestlers of my childhood. So, you know, really happy to pick this up. And I'm sure that, you know, when I'm doing videos about Hasbro WWF figures that I'm picking up, that I'll kind of refer to this just to refresh my memory on some of the events of that era. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going through this in a little bit more detail, but really happy to pick up this book. It kind of, you know, just provides a profile of all the definitive wrestlers of the time, the managers of the time, you know, the events, goes through the various events. So yeah, just a really fun addition to the collection. This wasn't expensive. As kind of personal an attachment as I have to this, it was probably a $15 pickup. This is probably the kind of item, like books are probably the kind of item where eventually if I just keep looking, I'll find them in thrift stores and, you know, just out in the field. But again, I saw this on eBay and I just had to jump on it. So happy to have the 1992 WWF official book in the collection. Alrighty, so next up we've got some VHS that I picked up. Now, when it comes to VHS, you know, throughout this year I've kind of gone crazy picking up movies that were kind of close to my childhood. And at the moment I'm trying to just ease up a little bit on the VHS, except for the WWF VHS, where I'm trying to pick up all of the pay-per-view events of my childhood for the VHS collection. When it comes to movies on VHS, I'm trying to just ease up a little bit for a few reasons. The first one is space. I'm quickly running out of space in this room. And the second one is just VHS tapes are the kind of thing where you can jump on eBay and pay a lot for them, or you can just be patient and eventually find them at thrift stores, op shops, garage sales, you know, or just big lots on Facebook Marketplace where people just want to offload them. So, you know, being the fact that VHS tapes can deteriorate pretty easily, there can be hidden mold, it's the kind of thing where I'm just trying to reserve it for the you know, dollar pickups, as opposed to paying, you know, $15, $20 on eBay for a movie that was nostalgic for me, when I can get it home, I can play it and find that the photos didn't show the extent of the damage to it. So, but anyway, with that said, there was a couple of VHS tapes that I specifically wanted to pick up. The first one was Home Alone 2, which I've already showed you guys when I did my last video, my top 5 favourite Christmas movies. And the same seller that was selling Home Alone had a couple of other VHS and just kind of made me an offer on combined shipping and discounted each tape to the point where I think I got them for maybe less than $5 a piece, which is not far off what I would expect to pay if I did find them at a garage sale or at a thrift store. So I picked them up. The first one is one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic movie on VHS from my childhood. And that's obviously the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990. Now, this is a film that is one of the standout movies of my childhood. You guys know, if you've watched my video, how much of a connection I have with the Turtles franchise from the animated series. Obviously the figures first and foremost, trading cards, all the rest. And this is a film that I never saw at the movies. I was 6 years old when it came out, so I saw it for the first time on VHS, and I vividly remember being at family friend's house who happened to have the movie, and I was just, you know, it was one of those things where I didn't know they had it. They said, hey, do you want to watch this? And I was just captivated for that afternoon. And it's obviously it's a clamshell cover. It's seen better days, but it's the iconic green VHS tape, and the tape itself is in pretty nice condition. So I had to pick this one up. When I saw that the same seller that was selling Home Alone 2 had this, I had to jump on it. And then the seller said to me, hey, if you buy 4, I won't charge you any more for the freight, and I'll discount the other 2 tapes that you buy. So I thought, why not get a couple more? The next one is Scream. Just I guess a classic film for its era, but also an important film for the horror genre of the 90s. So I thought, why not get that in the collection? And the last one, an ex-rental copy of Twister. Now, Twister is another film. It's another item that it has a kind of a key place in my memory of Christmases as a kid, because this is a movie on VHS that I opened up on Christmas morning in about 1997. But unlike some of the other items I've talked about, where it was something that I was really anticipating and excited to open up on Christmas morning, this is almost like a negative memory for me, because I picked this up for Christmas in 1997. Now, around about that time, I was 13 years old, so I wasn't really, what I was really into at that time was mountain biking, and I'd asked my family for a specific mountain biking videotape, and when I saw under the tree, wrapped up what was quite obviously a VHS, I assumed that I was going to be opening up that tape, and instead I opened Twister, and I did my best to hide my disappointment, but with that said, over the years, Twister has become a personal favourite for me. I really love disaster movies. For whatever reason, I love disaster movies, and this is kind of one of my favourite from that genre. I just love the atmosphere the movie creates, the kind of Midwest tour through Tornado Alley. The effects were awesome for the era, and just the kind of hallmarks of road movies that really speak to me. You know, the diners, the drive-in movies, all those sorts of things, but just everything being destroyed by Twisters. It's my ultimate favourite rainy day movie. There's a lot I love about Twister, so really happy to have Twister on VHS in my collection. So that's it for the items that I opened on Christmas morning, but the pickups don't stop there, because when I was going down to my rubbish room, because I live in an apartment, so we have kind of a communal bin room, when I went down to the bin room on Christmas morning to take down all the wrapping paper and the rest of my rubbish, sitting here in the bin room is That's So 80s, the trivia game of the decade. How was I not going to take this home? Finding it, someone's discarded this on Christmas morning. I don't know if it was an unwanted gift or what the deal is, but it's in great condition. It's complete. You know, how am I not gonna add this to the collection? You know, one of the things that I joked with Matt and Andrew from Keep On Collecting about is just to think of all the awesome items from the 80s and 90s that are in landfill, and how, you know, jokingly we're all doing our best to keep things out of landfill by collecting. But on a serious note, I hate the idea of throwing away things that can be reused. So, you know, I had to take this home, and just going through some of these questions are just awesome. You know, which toy line did Hasbro launch in the 80s that featured variations including Blossom and Cotton Candy? That's obviously My Little Pony. Which 16-bit home console game did Sony release in North America in 1989? Sony, that one actually stumped me, but it's the Mega Drive here in Australia, or the Genesis in the US or in other markets. So how cool is that? That's So 80s, the trivia game from the decade, is in the collection for a grand total of $0, finding it in the bin room. Alrighty, so that's it for the 2021 Christmas haul. Some awesome additions to my collection. Some, you know, vintage action figures that are going to display beautifully. Some items that are going to kick me off collecting in a new direction, like the Kenner Superpowers figure from the boys at Keep On Collecting. Guys, thank you so much for that. And in the case of the video games and the VHS and the Time and Fun Pancake game, some items that I'm going to have a lot of fun with and then go on to display beautifully in the collection. So all in all, I have to say that Christmas was good to me, and I really hope it was good to you as well. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. I want to just make the point that, you know, I'm really blown away by the response that the video that I did with Matt and Andrew from Keep On Collecting, the response that video has got. Never would have predicted that it's reached as many people as it has, and really happy with kind of the engagement the video's got and the new subscribers that it's brought to the channel. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. You know, hope you enjoy what you see, hope you stick around, but also a big shout out to the OG subscribers as well. And on that note, while I'm talking about that video that I did with Keep On Collecting, as always, a big shout out to Matt and Andrew from Keep On Collecting, because I really do owe it to those boys. So thank you guys very much for that. And of course, thank you so much for that Christmas gift. I'm blown away by that. And, you know, look forward to hanging out with you guys in the new year, both the boys from Keep On Collecting and the rest of you guys as well. So I'll leave it there for now. Hope you guys enjoyed getting a look at the pickups. A couple of special shout outs that I want to make above and beyond Matt and Andrew from Keep On Collecting. I want to make a big shout out to my mate Smash Ventura, of course my good friend Jason Nupp, and I want to make another shout out to Scott and his brother Simon from the channel Scott's Comics and Collectibles. Thank you guys very much for the support. And that's it for the year. Hope you guys all have a very, very happy new year. Enjoy the rest of your holidays. Hope your year starts off on a really positive note. No beer for me today because I enjoyed more than enough of those over Christmas. I will stick with the energy drink as I try and maintain the energy to get through my New Year celebrations. But guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope to hear from you in the comments. Let me know if you guys got anything cool for Christmas or what you're going to be collecting in the new year. But I'll leave it at that. Thanks as always, and cheers.